5 movies with the worst CGI ever. There is no denying that CGI plays a vital role in any film. However, they can either make a special effect pops up or ruin the film altogether. In this video, we will cover the 5 movies with the worst CGI ever. Without any further ado, let's dive into the details. Number 5. Jurassic World. When it comes to Jurassic World, the film franchise is known for its excellent effects. However, the sequel fails to carry this reputation further. However, if we forget all entries in the franchise, Jurassic Park still seems fine as both practical and visual effects were used by Spielberg. It created something that was considered to be one of the best outings of his career. There is no denying that Jurassic World portrays some real promise. However, it lacks a vital element. Can you guess what I'm talking about in this context? Well, not even an inch of realism is portrayed by the film. The selling factor of such action movies is solely based on a practical approach. Now you know why I was talking about the reputations in the beginning. The film portrays dinosaurs and their worlds, so expecting realism might seem a little bit silly here. But Jurassic World CGI is way overused and merely passable. It does not even yield any source of effect from the audience. It is vital to talk about the limitations of CGI in depth. Firstly, the effect fails to capture any depth and produce none of the fear. On the other hand, the original was capable of such specifications. Although Jurassic World is a classic dinosaur movie, it turned out into a disaster venture thanks to the rebooting and noticeable CGI chaos. I must say that poor CGI ruined the film in many aspects. Number 4. Hulk. The number 4 on this list is backed by Hulk. Not a proud moment, but let us continue. Released in 2003, Ang Lee's action movie is not the worst movie with ugly CGI. But here's the catch. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you expect from a big budget blockbuster? Everything from characters to effects should be carved with utmost perfection. However, despite starring a well-established superhero, CGI failed to impress the audience. Talking about film issues, CGI is not the only thing on the list, but certainly failed to help much. Have you seen the Hulk on televisions? Yes, I'm talking about the one with cool makeup and prosthetics. If we look at the television versions, it was a remarkable success. So the film decided to go big and put in the extra effort. First, they tried to bring out the true adaptations of Incredible Hulk, but it was restricted down to trial only. But thanks to the giant size of CGI Green Goliath, that seems authentic. Definitely, all of this sounds intimidating in theory, but failed in practical applications. The film definitely broke Hulk fans' heart, but there is nothing we can do about it. Does it even happen to you that you imagine a robust visual in your mind, but when it comes to implementing it, the results deviate from your expectations? Guess what? Something similar happened with the movie, as it may have come a little too early. If we ask you to describe Hulk, you would imagine a powerful and massive character, but the movie showed a rubbery Hulk which was a bit too cartoony. Trust me, if you just look at it, you can take the character seriously. CGI can be much worse once we get started about the Hulk hounds. However, the renditions of the Marvel hero got outdone later. Firstly, it was 2008 The Incredible Hulk, and then MCU appearances were another one. So let us give a big round of applause to Thor Ragnarok for introducing a better Hulk in appearance. Number 3. The Transformers franchise. Moving on to the third movie, it is none other than the Transformers franchise. The movie offers a decent CGI at face value. What can you expect more from a highly advanced visuals? Giant alien car robots look robust in theory only. They do not have any practical ground and lack proper implementations. If we talk about the movie's imagery, it is neither perfect nor too ugly. It comes somewhere in between, but that is not the whole issue. The accurate representations of cartoons does not play a big role here. So what is the root cause of disappointment with the Transformers franchise? It is CGI, which is not properly used and has ruined the whole movie. The action sequences form a major part of the problem. Let me dive into a little detail about the Transformers. Things were represented as loud and explosive, whereas the Transformers seems to be brawling with each other on screen. At times, it gets too confusing that one cannot predict who is fighting who, and that is an understatement. The screen gets occupied with sparking, flaming, and jagged metal after you sit down for the flicks. Call it Michael Bay's over-the-top chaotic style or unnecessary element, but the CGI elements are constantly misused. It is often said that a person learns from their mistakes as a part of a process, but sadly, the same does not apply in every case. The subsequent entry makes the film look to be worse. The visuals are harder to soak in. I agree that visuals are not the only problem in the franchise, so fixing it will lead to perfections, but at least some improvement could be made by Bay. For example, crafting actions that looks distant enough to be memorable. Number 2. The Lawnmower Man. Are you already curious about the second movie with the worst CGI? Filmed by Brett Leonard, The Lawnmower Man is a science fiction film that somehow could not manage commendable effects. Expectations are likely to spike up once you hear that the movie is a Stephen King adaptation. The phrase "ahead of his times" defines the virtue of this legendary king, but for someone with so many steps ahead, how can virtual reality follow it all along? The movie was released in 1992. Yes, the time when smartphones were not even prevalent. So forget about the implementations of advanced technology altogether. But we cannot seem to ignore other blockbuster movies released in the same era. How did they manage to succeed and hear a lot of praises? No movie can get a pass merely due to its technology. I agree that we cannot expect Star Wars level CGI, but it was made public in the 1970s. Angel Studio, who created computer-generated imagery for the movie, depicts how poorly digital effects can age. So what is the Lawnmower Man movie all about and what it turns off? As the title suggests, the movie is centered around an intellectually disabled gardener. The upcoming details will probably make you cuss words in your head. So the gardener is used as an experiment by the scientists to make him smarter than before. I wish someone could boost my intelligence so I need not to rant about it anymore. But anyways, CGI just entered into implementations in the early 90s, or maybe creators didn't know the mechanism well. The thriller movie has turned into a cringe-worthy comedy show in the current time. All credits goes to not so cool and heavy amounts of CGI in The Lawnmower Man. One would question their existence while watching the movie. That is not an understatement here. You can prove the majority wrong by personally trying the movie, but let me warn you that you will not be able to hold your attention for too long. How can movie compromise of their CGI and when it is a science fiction? Number 1. King Kong. Are you a huge fan of monsters movies, one with apes, jungles, and giants? If yes, count me on the list, mate. There will be hardly any persons to be ignorant about King Kong. It is an adventure film released in 2005, which equals more than 14 years ago. Although the technology was decent, it couldn't manage to get an edge in terms of effect. The immense success of King Kong could be credited to its unique character only. There's not much to appreciate about the sheer amount of CGI used. Consistency plays a game-changing role in the film and images, but it got missed out from the movie. Several scenes could not be managed such appreciable CGI. It would be better to cite some of instances from the film here. Do you remember the dinosaur scenes where the chase happened? How can we possibly forget it? How can we possibly forget it since the scene had an eye-catching visual? But you will notice the limitations when examining carefully. The scene does not look realistic as the placements are done abruptly. Green screening is at fault along with how humans have been depicted in the scene. Even if the dinosaurs look splendid, there is no use until the movie screams an alternate reality. I wonder how King Kong managed to win the Academy Award for the best visual effects. It must be noted that CGI requires a significant amount of technology, capital, and skills. Some movies might have a lack of these resources, which is visible in their results. If we have missed out on any movies with poor CGI, let us know in the comment section. Along with that, spread the video with your friends and family, and you know the drill, right? Press the subscribe button for becoming a part of our family. Thank you for watching.